is it actually going to take you to read 2 whole books? That's the question, right? So I buy a lot of books. A lot of people I know buy a lot of books. And I'm just going to go through the books that I've bought that I haven't read and why I haven't done that yet. Okay, let's get started. This one actually is just sitting here, so we'll start with this one. Twilight. Why haven't I read it yet? I really have no idea. I've seen the movie like 5 times. I don't love the films that much. They're kind of fun to watch for because they're kind of cringy, so they're fun to watch like that. Rain. The book, CBA, I know what happens, and I just don't feel like I'm never gonna read this. But, yeah, that's this one. I have a big ass box over here. These are all the books that I brought home from my apartment, so yeah. We can do the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant. Some of these reasons might be petty that I haven't read them yet, but it's just, I'm telling the truth. This one, the text is very tiny, and the margins aren't that big, and that's why I haven't started this one yet. This one might surprise you guys if you watch my channel a lot. Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare, which is the first book in the Last Hours series. I don't know if this is the one that takes place right after Clockwork, Princess, Prince, Angel, that whole thing, Infernal Devices. But yeah, so I don't know. But this book came out in 2021, 2020, 2022. I don't know exactly when, but it was a part of a new series, and I wanted to read it. But this world is so complex, and I had put down, it's not that complex, but I had read all 6 of the books when I was in high school. This came out 6 years later, so I just wasn't really in the mental state to get back into an entire magic system and just all the stuff that happened. I was kind of okay, kind of close that chapter. Love the series though. But yeah, that's this one. Home Before Dark by Rae-SMR. This is actually a library book that was given to the little library in my neighborhood. This one makes some good noises. I haven't started this one yet because, I guess I could tell you what they're about. This is about a haunted house, I think. Maybe I won't tell you what they're about because I don't really know what they're about. I haven't started this one yet just because I keep forgetting to grab it. And I just finished my first Rae-SMR book and I didn't love it. I don't really like how he writes his women because he's a man that really only writes women except for his newest book. I think it's going to be his first book with a male protagonist. He just writes them like they're stupid. But it was free, so I wasn't gonna not get it, But yes, that's Home Before Dark by Rae-SMR. Delicate Condition by Danielle Valentine. This is actually the most recent book I purchased. Also sorry if you hear my neighbor cutting his grass. But this is the last book I purchased, and this is about a woman who is trying to have a baby, and apparently she loses the baby, but she's like, no, the baby is still in there. So she's talking to it and all this stuff, and they're girl, that baby is not there. But it seems really interesting. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. That's why I haven't read this one yet. I haven't read A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed because I hate this cover. I don't know what this one's about. When I know what they're about, I'll read it to you. I'll tell you what they are, but I don't know what this one's about. But this is just fugly. I don't know. And it's glossy. It just feels like I think I know what it is. It reminds me of The Giver. I bought The Giver from Costco 10 years ago. It was the same size, same kind of glossy cover. And I hated The Giver so bad, I almost it took my own life. Not really, but I hated that book. And that's why this is getting me, because I ordered it on Amazon and it came in and I was I don't think he's serving the way I wanted her to serve, unfortunately, but what can you do? I'll get around to it. it just doesn't look like it. Kind of reminds me of the movie The Shape of Water. Hated that movie too, like the cover does. So I don't know. I think I'm just getting in my own head with that. The Ministry of Time by Kayleen Bradley. Kayleen, I don't know. This book I actually was going to read after I had finished another book, but I opened it and the first page. I'll read. Is this the one? Yes, I'll read this to you, and you can see why I put it down. Perhaps he'll die this time. He finds this doesn't worry him. Maybe because he's so cold okay. Maybe because he's so cold he has a drunkard's grip on his mind. When thoughts come, they're translucent, free-swimming medusae. Don't know what that word means. As the Arctic wind bites at his hands and feet, his thoughts slop against his skull. They'll be the last thing to freeze over. He knows he is walking through, though he can no longer feel it. The ice in front of him bounces and retreats, so he must be moving forward. He has a gun across his back, the bag across his front. Their weight is both meaningless and Sisyphean, Sisyphean. Sisyphean. He is in a good mood. If his lips were not beyond sensation, he would whistle. In the distance, he hears the boom of a cannon fire. 3 in a row, like a sneeze. The ship is signaling. So, like, reading it the second time, not that fucking bad. But the first time I read this book, I was with my brother and I was reading it out loud to him, and he's like 16. And I don't really like to read a book when I can't understand what the words are. And so for it to have Sisyphean, I don't know the word. And then medusae, I was like, is this gonna be reading like a biology book? Like, I don't know if I can do that. But the book does sound good and I do want to read it. I think they were just doing that in the beginning because it's supposed to be like time jump, like back to old time when they use different words. But like, girl, still, like, I don't know what the fuck you're saying. I don't know what you're saying. So that's why I haven't read Ministry of Time yet. The Virgin Suicides. The reason I haven't read this one is because, well, I started it back in 2020 when I bought it. I think I got to page 48, but it's kind of just thick. I also, when I was reading it, I was kind of not a big reader yet. Like, I would read, but it would take me like a while to get through a book. Now I can read like a book a week, but it would just take me a minute to get into it, and I wasn't really into the story. Like, I wasn't really understanding what the fuck was happening. Sorry, maybe I should stop cussing. But then it's also like, when am I gonna be like, yeah, let me go pick up the Virgin Suicides? Girl, I already have depression. Do not need to go pick up the Virgin Suicides. I like to read to escape, not to escape to other people's mental health issues. But, unless they're like fun. Sorry. But yeah, this is like a little bit too heavy for me. Love the movie though by Sofia Coppola. I love Sofia Coppola. Another same vein, The Belcher by Sylvia Plath. I started this book. I got to page 40. I got this book on June 16th, 2021. So like almost exactly 3 years ago today. When am I gonna be reading The Belcher? When am I gonna be like, ooh, The Belcher? Because I read for like fun and I read for like escape, like I said. So like The Belcher is like not gonna give me like, oh my god. Isn't this book a little racist? And like fat phobic or like something. So there's enough of that in like the real world. But I do want to read it because I bought it, obviously, because I wanted to read it a while ago. I just did not. It's just one of my picking with The Belcher. Okay, the next book is Wild Love by Elsie Silver. The reason I haven't read this one yet, and just like every other romance book in this pile that I've got this summer, I'm not allowed to read any more romance during the summer. I'll tell you why. Because in the beginning of the summer, well, last month, I read Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. And I thought that I was in love with my ex again, and I was like, we need to get back together. So I think it was just my book making me feel like, oh my god, love. So that I'm not allowed to read any more romance almost could have been bad for me. But we're still friends. It was just like, because we hang out all the time, and it was weird. I was like, oh my god. So I'm banned from romance books, but I do really want to read this one, so I'll get to it sometime. You know I love my single dad trope, so I'll get there. Lock Every Door by Rae-SMR. I don't know why I haven't read this one yet. I think the cover is also fugly, so that's another thing about that. It also just kind of doesn't seem too amazing. No offense to Rae-SMR, it's about like a girl whose apartment sitting and people in the apartments are going missing. But like, once again, after reading The Only One Left by Rae-SMR, like last week, I've realized that I don't know if Mr. Sags is for me, so that's why I haven't read this one yet. This is kind of fun. I was going through them. Just like Wild Love, Funny Story by Emily Henry. What the fuck is on my book? Funny Story. I'm banned from romance. That's why I can't read this one. Maybe when I'm not banned from romance, I can read it. Because whenever I read a romance book, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in love. Like, but no, that's not the case. Next is Sugar Baby by Celine St. Clair. I really want to read this book. The cover is gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. But it's a little bit of a deep, like, plot. It's about a girl who is she's in a house when her parents are mean to her. I don't know. Hold on. Well, I don't know if her parents are mean to her. She gets kicked out of her home, and then she becomes a sugar baby, and now she lives in a house with all these sugar babies, and they all don't really have to, like, be a sugar baby to live, but she does, so it's, like, different for her. And it's, like, her grappling with, like, having to make money for herself, and then also doing this line of work. It's probably really, like, stressful and tiring, because, like, it's, you know, you obviously want something out of it, but you have to do other things to get the money, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I need to be in the right headspace to get into, like, a not dark, I don't really know if it's dark, but I don't want to start it and be like, yay, and then, like, it's like, oh, maybe I should go jump off a bridge, you know what I mean? So, I'll wait until I'm in a good headspace, but it seems really fun. Whenever I see a 21-year-old, I'm like, oh my god, me, so I pick up the book. So I really do want to read this. It's just a matter of when I feel like I can mentally do it. The next book is this one, The Swap by Robin Harding. Honestly, this one is about, I actually don't fucking know, I'm so sorry, but I did know when I bought it, don't worry, but it was the Amazon BOGO 50% off sale. Hold on, my leg is falling asleep. It's like my PJ pants. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Okay. Move out of my way. Okay. It was the Amazon 50% off, BOGO 50% off sale, and I was like, I need to get books for cheap. So I went and I watched some thriller recommendation videos on YouTube, and I just like saw this one and it sounded good. But low-key, this is like not a book that I would pick up, so I don't know why I did. Granted, I do love thrillers. Like, I've been reading only thrillers all summer, pretty much, because I just love, like, thriller in the summer is so, like, it just works. But yeah, I don't feel like I need to read this, which is upsetting because I bought it, but I digress. That's The Spot by Robin Harding. Next is A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. This book is about, well, it's a fictional retelling of Hades and Persephone, smut, I'm gonna read it. But like just smut. Like I'm not gonna like buy a book of smut because like the smut that I read serves its purpose, and then I move on. But this is, yeah. I just really wanted to read a Persephone's ex Hades retelling, but I want I honestly just wanted to read the fucking Greek mythology, the Greek myth. I don't know why I was like, I want to read a fake version when I just really wanted to read about Hades and Persephone, and that's on Wikipedia. So I don't know why I bought this, but I do want to read it because it sounds good. Oh my gosh! Wait, I might read this next. I'm going to Las Vegas next week, and it's about a gambling ring. That could be so good for the vibes. Oh my god. Okay, well, it might get read. See, how great is that? Oh shit! What the fuck happened? Sorry, I saw damage to my book, and I hate when there's damage on my books. Okay, next we have Anita Demonte, Laughs by Zachiel Gonzalez. I do not know how to pronounce her first name, but I attempted to. This book is about a woman who is studying art. I think, I could be wrong, and she realizes that another artist died, and she thinks was murdered by her husband, and nobody really gave her justice, and she's trying to find justice, and at the same time, people don't want her finding justice for the painter, so I think she, like, you know, it's based off of a true story, so that's pretty cool, or like a true case, I believe, maybe not like the girl who's, like, in the present day doing the art, but I think it's based off of an actual painter who did, and not end her life, but she did lose her life, somehow. I don't know, I didn't read it, and I don't want to be spoiled, so I didn't read the actual, the actual case, but look how pretty in yellow that is. But I do want to read this book. I don't know why I haven't grabbed it. I'm a very big mood reader, so when I do go to grab a book, I go through all of my books. This one I just haven't. I wanted to read it, but I wanted to also save it because the cover is very bright and happy and poppy. But when I want to read a thriller, I think dark, scary colors. So I think that's why I haven't, because it looks like summer, but I think it's going to give deep darkness, and it throws me off whenever I'm picking a book. So, yeah, I don't want it to not give thriller enough, but I also don't want it to, I just don't want it to not give enough thriller, so I think that's why I've been putting it off recently. Okay. Next we have The Puzzle Master by Danielle Trussoni. As it slides out of its, what is that shit called? Why am I cussing so much? Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. It's Dust Jacket. Yeah, it's Dust Jacket, yeah. Yeah, this is about a man who is an expert puzzle master and a woman on death row or something who has not spoken to any of the authorities, but she did write a puzzle out, she drew like maze. They call him to come and help. Then he starts to get obsessed with her, I think, and then yeah, just follows that. So I'm into it, but sometimes I get excited. Once again, I just do buy books that seem good, and then I'm like, I never read them. I do want to read this, but I think what's stopping me is that this is about a man, and I tweeted this yesterday on my fan account, but I hate when I pick up a book and I'm like, that sounds good, but that's about a man. No offense to the men who watch my videos, love you guys so much, but it's something about being in the mind of a man that I'm just like, why would I be doing that? I've had so much history lessons. I've had so many history lessons. I know something about men. Give me the herstory. Where are the girls at? And I like to read about women because I like to read to understand my own psyche and feel seen. So it's like, I don't want to read about a man. This is like the only book on here that's about a man on my TBR. Physical TBR. So, yeah. Anyway, long answer, but it's about a man. So that's why I'm not reading it yet. Not really, but you know what I mean. Ariadne, who is something. Don't know. But they live above the Minotaur, and the Minotaur is their brother. Yes, he demands blood every single year. And then some guy, the Prince of Athens, arrived to agree to sacrifice himself to the beast. And then Ariadne is like, oh my god, I'm obsessed with you, girl. Like, we need to preserve your life. Like, I need to bone you down. So he's like, oh shit, okay. We're gonna figure out how to get this beast to not eat me. Or something along the lines. This is when I was in my Persephone and Hades era, and I was like Greek mythology retelling. But here's the thing, when I want to read the book and I don't have it, I order it on Amazon. Then by the time it gets to my house, I started another book. And I just don't get to the book that I ordered. So that's why I haven't started this one. I just got to the next book, unfortunately. We'll see if that stays up. I'm kind of stacking a little crazy over here. The next book is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. Y'all bitches love these books. Y'all love them. And I'm like, okay, I'll read it. But how many books are in this series? 6, 7, 5, 4, I don't know. But in my brain, I think of series and I'm like, okay, how many books is in the series? There's 4 books in the series. It's gonna take me about like a month to read the series, unless I'm really feeling it. That's just like, basis here or there, kind of like, my reading pace. So I'm like, okay, 4 weeks to read 4 books, but like, I want to read a lot of books. I don't just want to read this book or this series. So I get scared and then I don't start it. I'm just intimidated by the series. But one day, I will. I know I don't have to read them all in order, but I know myself. I know I'll be like, oh my god, need to read all this now. And then I'll be like, but all the releases that came out recently I haven't gotten to. Whatever, you know what I mean? So yes, that's why I haven't started Throne of Glass or any of the other ones by Sarah J. Maas. I do have I do have Crescent City. I hated it, but I didn't read it yet. I bought it a while ago. My friend was like, get this book, and I was like, okay. And I did, and I just didn't know what was happening. I couldn't follow. But also that could be because I didn't have my medicine then. This is the kind of video you get from me when I'm sleepy. You get me raw and unfreaking filtered. Okay, we have The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. Another one of those like classic books that I'm like, girl, do I want to kill myself today or do I want to go outside and be happy? And so I haven't read this one yet. Because a book about women who are just like, their only use is to be bred. And they have no rights. But they literally are just there to produce children. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's so fun and light. Totally gonna read that on my day off when the sun's out on the beach. Like, that's not happening. So maybe. And also the text is so tiny. I don't like text that looks like that. It's too thick. It's too bold. And it's too small. So, I told you it might be a little bit petty, my reasonings, but hey, it's the truth. You guys asked, so I'm telling you. Don't want me to lie. I didn't freaking think so. But yeah, a lot of classics I've noticed have this type of text, and it reminds me of school assigned reading, and it makes me want to blow my brains out, like I'm not doing it. So yeah, I pick these books up and then I'm like, I'm putting these books back down. Okay, then we have Silver Nitrate by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. This is about a film reel that was a part of a movie that never got released, I believe. A lot of scary stuff happened on set, and then jumped to the present day, 1990, I think is when it's set. And we have 2 people who see the tape or some shit, and they like, yeah, they meet the director, and then they have like, it's like culty, and then there's like things happening to them, like a dark presence is following them, and people start seeing ghosts. So I think the reason I haven't read this one is I'm a little bit confused on what it is. I can't tell if it's thriller or like supernatural or like cult or like murderer or like serial killer or like cursed movie or like people are protecting people and they don't want people to see that they're killing people, like government stuff. I don't know. I think it's just a little I was gonna read this book. I literally opened it, was like, I'm reading this next. Opened it, flipping through, you know, the like OG stuff, like you see the title page, whatever, you see the dedication, and I was like, wait a minute. Soundtrack, that's fine. Maybe it's like she has an idea of what she wants you to hear while you're reading it. Makes a lot of sense. It's about, I think it's about a stripper. I don't know, but I was like, okay, strip club. It makes sense to get the songs that are playing in the book in this club. It's like, okay. Then I was like, okay. Then we have the, I forgot what it's called in here, but I don't think it's usually called that. But we have the, you know, that part, and it says, and it's an Ariana Grande quote. And I was like, okay, a little bit thrown up. It's giving me Wattpad at the moment, so I'm like, okay, whatever. Maybe, but I can't wait to get into the story. I see this fucking picture, and I was like, oh. I was like, oh. For some reason, those three things in the beginning kind of like made me feel like I was reading a fan fiction. And I love fan fiction, but not about random bitches. Like, I read my fan fiction about people that I'm a fan of. So I was like, who is Ramsey's Owl? And why am I getting a 2017 Tumblr drawing of him in the beginning of the book? I like to fan cast my own books in my head. Not even a fan cast, I just make up what they look like in my head. So why are you trying to tell me what this motherfucker looks like? Because I know what he looks like up here. And I was like, what if I don't want him to look like that? No, I just think that's what he looks like. Once again, I told you the excuses would be petty, but hey, maybe I'll read it on my iPad so I don't have to feel like I'm, because the cover is so cute. I just adore that. But yeah, that's Minx. I don't know if the book is good. It just like, it just threw me off. Like, I was like, whoa. And I've already said that in my other video, but it's funny to me every time. Next book I haven't read is Cleopatra and Frankenstein. I actually got this book when I was going through my breakup with my ex-boyfriend. It was really upsetting because obviously it's a breakup. And so I was like, let me read this book about like divorce, not really divorce. I don't know if there's divorce in the book, but I'm guessing it's like quick relationships and things that happen when you think you know somebody and they change or whatever, and it's just, you know, just relationship stuff, and just dealing with being in a relationship that you really are just like, oh, I don't think this is gonna work. Not saying that that's how I felt about mine, but that's what I'm guessing is this one is about. I think it might also be about an abusive relationship, so I was like in the mood when I was already trying to reflect upon my own relationship to read about a relationship that was falling apart. Now that I'm kind of healed from that, I don't really need to go back to that right now. I probably should give it a second before I decide to go into like disastrous relationship book. So anything, I'm banned from romance, and I'm banned from romance that doesn't work out. I'm just gonna keep reading my thrillers and my weird girl fiction for now. And then we have The Shining Girls by Lauren Bukes. The Shining Girls by Lauren Bukes. This is about girls that can time travel, I believe. It's okay. Somebody is a murderer that came from the past through the time travel machine, and she can like transport herself and wants to kill them. The other girls who can transport themselves. I don't know, but it seems good. I think I bought this one like in the beginning of the year when I was like, I'm gonna read, and I got excited and I bought every single book that I saw, and it just fell to the wayside. Also, I don't like the cover. One thing about me, I am the first person to judge a book by its cover, because what the fuck do I look like sitting outside reading an ugly book? Like, sorry, that book gets read on my iPad. The books with the ugly covers, I don't spend my money on those, because my books are meant to be little works of art, and it's not the worst cover by any means. It's just like the fake sticker that's like, I can't get off of the fucking book, and then it's like this random ass girl. I'm like, okay, Slay. Unless she's like in the show. I have a TV. I have enough streaming services. read it soon. I don't know. We're about halfway done. Now we're getting into, well, not really, but okay. The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. Everybody loves this book. I wanted to read it. I mean, it was $9 at Meijer. Was I just not gonna get it? It was on my TBR anyway, so I was like, let me get this book. But I was getting a lot of books at this time. And then I also was like, I struggle with YA sometimes because the books that I like to read are like literary fiction, weird girl, psychological horror books, like when they're doing weird ass shit like Mother Thing. I haven't read Mother Thing, but like Mother Thing and like A Certain Hunger and like just books where the girls are unhinged and like killing people low key, so that's like my vibe. Because I like to learn about, not that I'm killing people, I like to learn about how other girls in fictional worlds live and, you know, see girls struggle with girl things in books. So The Cruel Prince, like, I'm not in a fairy land. Like, I'm not a fae. I don't live in the grass, the trees. I don't know where fairies. But when I want to escape, I will. But I don't know. I don't like this cover either. It's really just like a cover thing for me. If the cover is fugly, it's not gonna happen anytime soon. So, it's also a series, and I just don't want to read a series right now. But people love this book, and I do want to read it. I just haven't got the chance. Okay, I'm getting a little stat going on here. There's another stat that's toppling over. Next, we have Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. Same thing with The Cruel Prince. It's not really a series, only 2 books in this one, but I just don't. It's another YA book. And like I said with the last one, I like to see like modern girl struggles. Like Otessa Moshfegh books. Not necessarily her books, but the topics that they cover. Like I enjoyed my Year of Rest and Relaxation, which I didn't finish, but I did like it. I just stopped reading it. Not because I didn't want to read it, just because I was like, okay, next. I don't live in the 19. Like, I'm not in the war. You know what I mean? Like, it's not wartime for me right now. I'm also not magical. I also don't know any demons. So, I can't relate, and then I'm also like, I just don't feel like it. But I do want to read it. I just have to be in the mood for a fantasy book. I don't read much fantasy. I do like fantasy. I think I've read 2 fantasy books. Powerless, which is more of a YA, like Hunger Games-y kind of thing. And then Library at Mount Char, which is like kind of a very sophisticated fantasy book. Not sophisticated like Dune. Hate Dune. I hate Dune. Never, like, oh my god. I won't get started with that. But, like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't do good with fantasy for some reason at the moment. When I really want it, I really want it, but when I don't, it's kind of like, okay. Tomorrow, I bought this book because everybody was talking about it. Target was having their, like, book on 50% sale. That's really when I get my worst decisions, when they're having that, because I'm like, oh, should I have to leave here with something? I don't doubt it will be good, though. But, apparently it's really sad. It's about friendship and love and platonic love and romantic love and grief, and it's just all the things, and it's kind of thick. It's like 400 pages, so I just haven't gotten around to reading it. Not that it's that long, it's just there's more books that I want to read better than books that I want to read more urgently than this one. Okay. Then I have some questions for you by Rebecca Mackay. It's kind of the same thing as Silver Night Dream and Anita DeMonte. I just have so many thrillers that I want to read that when I go to look through my thrillers, this one isn't the one that's calling my name, simply. But I'll get to it. You'd think I'd go on a book buying ban because I have so many books that I haven't read. But I'm such a mood reader. I'm a very big mood reader. And if the book isn't the mood, if I have a certain mood also, if I'm thinking exactly something specific, and I have to go search out the book and read that book, and then I can go to the next thing. So a lot of these books just aren't what I'm in the mood for. Hence mood reading. But okay. It's getting a little tricky now. I have a lot of books next to me. We have the reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson. Just another book, a 50% book. And same thing with I have some questions for you, and Anita Demonte last, and Silver Nitrate, and Puzzle Master. It's just not the thriller I'm reaching for when I'm reaching for a thriller. Simply, it's also a YA book. I don't know what it is with me and YA books, because I love Good Girl's Guide to Murder, but for some reason, like I said, I feel like when I read a YA book, I'm not gonna get somebody at my age and their experiences. I've already lived the age of 18, 17, 16, 15. Like, I don't really have a hankering for learning about the age and how people feel when they're 17. You know what I mean? I already did that. I do not want to go back. But it does sound good. I do want to read the book. It's just me feeling like I want to read the book, basically. Okay. Next, I have The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo by Stieg Larsson. I have had this book for ages, and that's kind of a part of it. When I have a book for too long, I kind of just like forget that I ever want to read it, and I don't reach for it. I did start it, but it was going a little slow for me, I believe. So I just haven't gotten back to it. Okay, this one's a fan favorite. We have The Secret History by Donna Tartt. And I could sit here and lie and say that the text is too small and the margins are too small, which, in my opinion, they are a little bit small. But I'm just waiting for fall. That's what I'm waiting for. When it gets a little bit chilly and I have my mug of cocoa and I have my little sweater on, and I'm like, oh, I put on my pumpkin scented candle. That's when Secret History is coming out. Because Dark Academia, hello. I'm into it. I'm so excited to read this book. So, yes, this is one of the first books I bought when I started on my reading journey. So, very excited about it. Then we have The Inheritance Games. Once again, another YA, not really fantasy, really. It's just like a YA something. I don't know what this genre is, but basically she inherits all this money, and the family's like, what the hell? Why didn't I get the fucking money? And then she's like, because you're stupid as hell. And they're like, what the fuck? And then she has to outsmart the puzzles to get the money, and they're like, I want the money. She's like, no. So, yeah. It sounds really good. It's like a puzzle game, a puzzle book, a riddle book. Once again, though, it's young adult, and you know I feel about young adult. I said it 18 times in this video. I will get around to it. I just, like I said before, I don't usually reach for it first. Like the last few books are pretty much young adult. So. This one isn't though. Two Nights in Lisbon by Chris Pavone. This is about this girl who went to Lisbon. No, wait, no. Yes, this girl goes to Lisbon by herself. Oh no, she wakes up by herself in Lisbon, and her husband is missing. She doesn't know where he is. And she only has 2 nights, I think, to find him or something. Yeah. So, I mean, it sounds good. I probably should read it. But once again, I've had this book for a long time before I really started reading. Okay, these are the last 3 books, I believe. Oh, the last 2 books. Okay, yeah. This one I haven't read yet because the cover, I can't tell if it's fugly or cool. What do you guys think? If you think this cover is fugly, let me know. Say fugly in the comments. Yeah, once again, another young adult book. It does sound really good though. I just keep not reaching for it, just like every other book. I just have not reached for it yet. One day it will happen. But look at these end papers. Look at this, like, look at this hardcover, like the actual hardcover. It's a very pretty book. And whenever Gary can read, recommends me something, just love her taste in books. So, yes. Then I have the last book of the video on my TBR is Gothicana by Runix. Runix. Or Runix. Yeah, this one seems fun. It has purple sprayed edges. It's a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I'm into it. Another thing though, it's just not the time of the year yet to read this book, so I haven't yet. I don't know if this one is YA, but it may keep all my receipts. I love doing that as bookmarks because then I can see when I bought it. I bought this one in March. Yeah, March. So I just gotta get to the right time of the year when I can read this, like September, October. Dark, gloomy, it gets dark at 4 p.m. kind of days. Because that's what I'm into for this. But yeah, that is all the books, not all the books on my TBR, but all the books on my physical TBR that I have on me at the moment and why I haven't started them. If you have any books that you have petty reasons for not starting, let me know in the comments because honestly, it's valid. You read what you want to read. You don't have to read what other people want you to read, or you don't have to read a certain book just because you bought it. You can always return a book. So, yeah, thank you so much for watching. I love you guys dearly. We're so close to 1,000 subscribers. Like and subscribe if you would like to. I post every Wednesday again because it's starting a new job. I was doing 2 times a week, but I can't maintain the schedule anymore, so we're back to 1. If you guys have anything you want to see, leave a comment down below, and I'll be sure to see it and interact with it. And you can follow me on my social medias. My TikTok, I don't really post on there, but my TikTok, my Instagram, I post on a lot. My personal Instagram and my Goodreads are all in the description. So if you're interested in any of that, you can find those there. And I love you guys dearly, and we'll see you next week.